Hi, my name is Lauren Dione, and today I'm going to discuss the negative impact that Instagram has on young girls' physical appearance. With the rise of social media, it has become increasingly easier to access unrealistic images of quote unquote perfection. Young girls are more impressionable and therefore more susceptible to feel the pressures of presenting an ideal version of themselves. This can lead to a low self-esteem and other mental health issues like eating disorders and depression. I'm going to explore the influence that male and female Instagram users have on young women and its relevance to a particular communication theory. All right, the theoretical lens that I will be applying to the topic of Instagram's impact on young girls and physical appearance is the feminist standpoint theory. Using Nancy Hartsock and Julia Wood's research on the feminist standpoint theory, I will build my stance on how the theory can be used to challenge the status quo in the case of deciding a woman's value. With the help of Adrienne Shaw and her article, The Internet is Full of Jerks because the world is full of jerks, I will uncover what the feminist standpoint theory teaches us about the masculine culture that exists in online spaces and how it intervenes with feminine culture. There are complexities with using the feminist standpoint theory for this topic because its argument that class structure affects one's understanding of a social issue. While this may be the case, I really want to focus my study on how Instagram affects all young women, regardless of their class position. I worry that this aspect of the theory might distract the focus on the real enemy, which in this case is social media and gender norms. Despite my concern, I'm confident that the feminist standpoint theory will provide me with an argument that can be used to challenge the status quo, as it places value on women and their voices. So I conducted a survey to fully understand the impact that Instagram has on its young female users. I asked a series of questions to 10 female participants ages 18 to 22 and documented their responses. In question one, I asked participants if they agree to the following statement. Instagram contributed to negative perceptions of my physical image. The survey reported that 9 in every 10 young women agree with this statement. I then asked my participants to rank social media platforms in accordance to promoting unrealistic beauty standards. Instagram was placed at the number one spot by 6 out of 10 participants. And one survey respondent added in her notes, Instagram easily makes girls and women feel as if their bodies aren't good enough, as people add filters and edit their pictures in order for them to look perfect. It's hard to know what's real. Lastly, I asked the participants if they agreed or disagreed to the following statement. Instagram has influenced my desire to get cosmetic procedure. 7 out of 10 of the participants agreed with this statement. It is obvious that participating in Instagram activities can result in a distorted view of one's physical appearance. But if that's the case, then what's keeping their interest in being an active user? According to an article titled Quantifying the Feminine Selfie, young women who incorporate gender display into their selfies receive higher quantities of feedback that could be considered positive or reinforcing. This type of reinforcement is toxic to femininity because it perpetuates the unrealistic feminine ideals that are encoded in visual media and society as a whole. In the same article, Goffman suggests that posing cues in mass media images of disengaged, subordinate women and tough, dominant men reproduce simplified and distorted views of interpersonal gender relations. Since we live in a society where women are often sexualized or idealized for physical appearance alone, instances of stereotypical gender display will appear in the majority of young women's Instagram selfies. Some men will argue that women aren't forced to strive for these beauty standards and they aren't forced to post sexy and feminine photos online, but these are the same men that follow hundreds of Instagram models and internet troll the women that don't meet their expectations. These are the men that Adrienne Shaw speaks of in her article, people who are jerks, not only when they're in anonymous internet spaces, but also when they are in spaces where they can get away with being jerks. To devalue the opinion of those men, we can look at Hartsock and Wood's research on the feminist standpoint theory. According to the theory, cultural conditions typically surrounding women's lives produce experiences and understandings that routinely differ from those produced by the conditions framing men's lives. That being said, the knowledge that young women possess based on their experience overrules any and all standpoints in opposition to theirs. In this case, it is the opposing standpoint from a man. Some ethical considerations I made while researching this topic is that the sexualization of young women is not something to be normalized, and my share of data does not reflect the number of young women that are not participating in gender display. My application of the feminist standpoint theory to this controversial topic does not reflect the number of men who do not participate in internet trolling and sexist commentary, nor does it dismiss the men who have had issues regarding their physical appearance or have experiences of unwanted sexualization. My research is simply a reflection of the young women who have been negatively affected by social media's perpetuation of toxic femininity and the men that attempts to devalue the voices of those women. Okay, so after receiving feedback from my midterm proposal, I realized that I needed to change a lot about my final project. I didn't receive any feedback from my classmates, but my instructor's feedback was detailed enough to point me in the right direction. My original plan was to use TikTok as my platform of discussion and research how it contributes to a variety of mental health problems. After reading my instructor's notes that recommended I limited my focus, I realized that having a research topic too broad would make it difficult to apply a theoretical lens and find relevant research subjects. Choosing Instagram as my platform of discussion allowed me to narrow my social issue because the app is known to be more calculated in terms of what people choose to post, unlike TikTok, which is slightly more unhinged and authentic. Physical appearance and body image tend to be a common concern and topic of conversation among other women my age, so I figured it would be appropriate to shed some light on the subject. So final thoughts are this research helps us to better understand communication and technology by showing the impact of Instagram and digital media on female identity and self-image. It also demonstrates how we can use the feminist standpoint theory to create a more empowering and positive online environment for women, particularly young women. By understanding aspects of this theory and gaining awareness of the impact that social media and communication technology can have on the way we view ourselves, we can create a space where women empower women, where all body types are represented and celebrated. The main takeaway from this research is that although social media can be a double-edged sword, it can also be used to create a more positive and empowering environment for women. Thank you.